What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, the big breaking news today was Vladimir Putin comes out and he's talking about nuclear war. And here we go, more threats of World War III, but that's not what we're getting into today. We're getting into some more breaking news. Check this out, y'all. Breaking. Trump claims victory after Manhattan DA concedes in New York City hush money case. So, this case is pretty much going to go bye-bye for the foreseeable near future. That is correct, y'all. Yeah, check this out. Let's get through this right quick because we got some commentary coming from MSNBC, of course. And I got a clip for you guys to get into it. But let's get through the particulars of the case right quick. Check this out. On Tuesday, Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg told Judge Juan Merchan that sentencing in the falsified business records case against President-elect Donald Trump should be postponed. Trump's team celebrated the move, calling it a total and definitive victory for President Trump. The filing stated, "The people deeply respect the office of the president and are mindful of the demands and obligations of the presidency and acknowledge that defendant's inauguration will raise unprecedented legal questions. We also deeply respect the fundamental role of the jury in our constitutional system," per NBC News. Now, what they're basically doing is Judge Juan Merchan was supposed to come out and decide whether they're going to dismiss this, they're going to go forward with the case, well, you know, they're going to do a new trial because of the presidential immunity, whatever, and he went away and didn't give any reason as to why. He's not giving a definitive answer on this, but it's getting delayed for the time being. He did say that much, which is just great. Like, it raises several questions, and we're going to get into that after we play this clip, but let's keep going with this right quick. Given the need to balance competing constitutional interests, consideration must be given to various non-dismissal options that may address any concern raised by the pendency of a post-trial criminal proceeding during the presidency, such as a deferral of all remaining criminal proceedings until after the end of the defendant's upcoming presidential term, the filing added. So it's looking like, from the sound of this, the Manhattan District Attorney wants to put this on hold until Trump comes out of office in 2029. However, this is a total and definitive victory for President Trump and the American people who elected him in a landslide. The Manhattan DA has conceded that this witch hunt cannot continue. The lawless case is now stayed, and President Trump's legal team is moving forward to get it dismissed once and for all, said Trump Communications Director Stephen Chung. The prosecution gave two reasons as to why the sentencing should be delayed. First, as a practical matter, defendants stated plan to pursue immediate dismissal and file interlocutory appeals will likely lead to a stay of proceeding in any event. Staying proceedings now until the court's resolution of the motion to dismiss would thus avoid unnecessary litigation. Second, proceeding to sentencing now would not avoid the new immunity question that defendant intends to raise. So, there are many questions with this. Several questions as far as how do we move forward with this, right? He's already been convicted. However, once it goes to appeals court, I think all of this is going to get dismissed anyway. I think Juan Merchan sees this just simply due to the several due process violations that were wrapped up in this thing. You know, them not letting him know what the underlying crime was because it was raised, you know, it was a misdemeanor elevated to a felony due to furtherance of another crime, but they never told him what that crime was until the trial, for crying out loud. Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, it's constitutional malpractice, if you will. Yeah, you can't do that. But the folks over at MSNBC, they don't seem to care. Check this out.
What do you think, Brendan? Should a greater political logic apply when we're talking about a jury verdict?
Well, it certainly seems like they're allowing the fact that he won dictate the law here, and that's sort of remarkable. I mean, I don't even know that they're citing the immunity ruling. They're just simply saying because he's going to be president, he can't be sentenced. So I think that's very notable. Look, the politics of this seem to be non-existent. I mean, it's an interesting counterfactual. Democrats largely ignored this hearing this trial while it was going on, and only talked about it a little bit after the fact. I don't know that would have made a difference, but I don't think this election really had much of anything to do with Donald Trump's trials and convictions and all the other things they had going on. That's not what people were were voting on. But you can look at this now in the bigger picture and say, this is why Donald Trump probably feels invincible right now. There is very little accountability for much of anything that he does. And I think that speaks to the way that he's carrying out his transition. He doesn't feel like anything hems him in. One of the guardrails of politicians is public opinion. And what happens if people just don't care? No one seemed to care about this. This didn't seem to have an impact on how anyone was voting. And so now you can get away with just about anything, and you can start, I don't know, appointing people like Matt Gaetz as attorney general because you don't seem like you ever face any accountability for anything.
I just gotta laugh at that. You don't face accountability for anything, but he's right, but for the wrong freaking reasons. Yet nobody cared because we're tired of the garbage coming from places like MSNBC, and their ratings prove that, right? You cannot, after the statute of limitations has expired, you can't decide, oh, we need to go after this guy. He's running for president again. We can't allow him to be president again. You can't just then decide, hang on, this was in furtherance of another crime, not tell him that there's another crime, charge him, arrest him, go through the whole process, bring him, drag him through court, right? People see this. And then it's because he didn't write down a couple of words in a sentence on a piece of paper. Are you freaking kidding me? Falsifying business records. You elevated it to a felony based on some bogus charges that he didn't even get charged with because he didn't commit those crimes. Then you don't tell him that. You violate due process. You go through all this. You give the jury instructions as, hey, hang on, the elevating crime was such and such and such. And you have a multiple choice. You don't even have to agree on which one it was, just as long as you get a guilty verdict. That's all we care about. And the public saw this. Yes, they didn't care because they're tired of the garbage. They see it's garbage. They see it's political weaponization against a former and president-elect. At the time, it wasn't president-elect, but, everybody could see the writing on the wall, right? Donald Trump was going to win this presidency regardless, right? There was no challengers that were even close to coming. We were kind of scared. Yeah, I know. We thought, Kamala Harris might win because Democrat procedural. Their ground game is pretty good. As a matter of fact, it showed off well last time, but it didn't show up this time. Don't know why. Don't know what happened. They dropped the ball. They did something. We don't really know what's going on. But the orcs over in Manhattan, yeah, they are whinging right now. Oh, no, we can't dismiss this. Why the hell not? You know it's going to get dismissed anyway, but they have to put up the front it's just justice being served here. That dude talking about accountability still gets to me. Where's the accountability? The statute of limitations had already ran out on this. And you say, the statute of limitations ran out. Well, we can't change that in the immediate, so what do? Let's just make some stuff up, right? And people saw the writing on the wall. They said, look, they're just making stuff up. We didn't know. The public didn't know. The jury didn't know what the underlying crime was until the trial started, for crying out loud. And then we heard from Michael Cohen himself that he outright paid out of his own volition. He paid that. Didn't ask Donald Trump. Donald Trump didn't tell him to do that. There you go. Boom. That's case closed right there. There's a litany of reasons why this case should have been thrown out on its face. But we know in Manhattan, in a D plus 50 area, something like that, it's mostly 90% Democrat, right? That, yeah, you're going to be able to get a conviction. Certainly. Especially on something like this. But it's garbage. They should have just charged him with this a long time ago, right when he came out of office. Right? Come on now. There's no accountability for falsifying business records elevated to a felony on a make-a-wish type of crime here that he's not even being charged with. That's just ridiculousness, if you ask me. But these people over at MSNBC just seem to be whinging. And yes, people didn't care about that because they're tired of the garbage. They're tired of the political weaponization coming from these people. They are tired, sick and freaking tired of it. You thought you guys were on the winning side. Oh, we're going after Trump. We're getting Trump. He's going down this time. There's going to be accountability, y'all. Nope. Sorry. Not happening. Because, you can't serve unjust justice, if you know what I mean. Right? Like, this was always going to play out in this fashion. This is just going to go away. I can almost assure you of that. However, he did say something interesting in that clip. I heard a legal analyst say something while I was watching that entire clip, talking about, justice delayed is justice denied. Well, that kind of says it all, if you will, because what's going to happen with this, justice denied, but once again, she was right for the wrong reasons. While this is being just delayed, you can't appeal a decision yet. She also goes on to state, as we all kind of knew, the Democrats are constantly saying, oh, he's a convicted felon. Well, guess what? On social media, folks, next time you hear somebody say, oh, he's a convicted felon, guess what? He's not a convicted felon. The actual conviction isn't reality until he gets sentenced. So until he gets sentenced, he is not a convicted criminal. He is not a convicted felon. So we don't have a convicted felon as president. That is right, folks. So make sure you let everybody know that hey, he is not a convicted felon. It does not take place until after he gets sentenced. And this also tells you something, that they're delaying the sentencing. Tells you something else. That they planned on giving him jail time. Because if they didn't plan on giving him jail time, then you would go through with the sentencing. Because, he's not gonna be going to jail, so fine him, probation, whatever. But that tells me outright that they planned on giving him jail time for this. And we knew they were going to. That's the only reason they had to elevate it to a felony, because you can't jail somebody, you can't imprison a person for falsifying business records. A simple clerical error, or intentional or not. You can't throw somebody in prison for that. I don't believe. Not on that scale. I'm sorry, not for that. That's silly to think otherwise. They had to elevate it to a felony because in their deranged lunatic minds, they had to put him in prison so he couldn't run for president. That was what this entire thing was based around. Stopping him from becoming president. Now that he's become president, guess what, folks? All this falls away to the wayside. Just like all the other cases. I mean, Jack Smith, look at all those cases. He just gave up, y'all. Just gave up. Oh, we have a standard practice of not indicting or, not going after presidents or whatever. It's like, can't you wait till he comes out of office? Then he will no longer be a president. You guys have no problem going after former presidents. So why don't you just hold on to these cases until he comes out of office? But no, they didn't do that. They have that option, folks. They most definitely have that option. But they didn't do that, did they? Jack Smith just said, screw it. We're throwing it all away. And then the Fani Willis case, that I read a headline earlier talking about that has been postponed. That one's pretty much dead in the water. It's been dead in the water for a while because of malfeasance of Fani Willis. But once again, y'all let me know what y'all think about all this. This is just amazing what is happening here, right? And it's not because, it's just Teflon Don. We don't get accountability for his crimes. No, that's not what it is, folks. Right? Not with all of this. I'm sorry. It can't be this dude just slipping out of accountability. Not with all of these indictments. I mean, what was it? 94 indictments total? 94 charges in total of 4 different cases, 4 different districts, I guess you could say. Yeah, you don't just slip out of all that. Not out of federal, at least. But we could see the writing on the wall with this, that they understand that they have lost, that this is all garbage, and they need to just go ahead and back off, get away from this, because we know, the gig is up, if you will. It's over for you guys. But once again, Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. Y'all don't forget, do me that big favor and smash that like button for me. If you're new around here, I would really appreciate a subscribe. That would be great if you guys could do that for me. I would greatly appreciate that once again. And y'all try to have a good day and stay legitical. Peace.